understand? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Greetings of peace and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much. As my brother said, he welcomed you, and I also welcome all of you. My name is Afaf Nasher, and I am with the New York chapter for the Council on American Islamic Relations, and you all know why we're here today. We're here today because our sister Fatu was brutally assaulted coming off of a bus, minding her own business. And rather than having the support system that she needed and expected from law enforcement, she was disappointed in the worst of ways. She was neglected time and time again when she tried and tried again to tell them, you need to investigate this because I am a human being worthy of dignity and worthy of your effort. And the reason that we are here today is because they did not hear her. And neither did the Bronx District Attorney's Office, who tries to silence us by refusing to investigate and to prosecute. But that is not acceptable. And when they don't hear her, I want her to know that we do. Her community does. And that we will stand beside her every single day, and we will keep drilling this message until justice is delivered for her and the countless other people who go to law enforcement and don't get the investigation or the attention that their matter deserves. Having said that, what we want today is very simple. Even a small child can tell you. Iman, what do we want?
Justice.
And when do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
You know, when we heard about this matter at CAIR-New York, we made sure that we wanted to meet up with our sister Fatu and the family. We went to the Bronx District Attorney's Office, who was very reluctant to even allow us through the door. We spoke to the NYPD Hate Crimes Task Force, which, that'll have to wait. We're in the middle of something now much more important. So we went to the Hate Crimes Task Force. Normally a task force that I go to and normally receive a decent response. But I am truly disappointed in the response we got this time. And to speak more about the specifics of that is our litigation director, Brother Ahmed Muhammad. Brother Ahmed.
Yes. Pardon me.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Thank you so much for being here today. Like Sister Afaf said, my name is Ahmed Muhammad. I'm the litigation director at CAIR-New York. I want to just kind of give you a quick breakdown of the timeline of events here. Sister Fatu was attacked returning from her college on May 10th, right around the corner where the bus stop is here. May 10th. Today it's June 15th. And there has been not a single ounce of justice that's been served.
Shame.
Shame on the NYPD.
Shame on the NYPD.
Shame on the Bronx DA.
Shame.
Shame on them all for failing Fatu. She has had to go about doing this, about seeking justice on her own for the past month. When she was attacked, she suffered a broken nose by almost a dozen individuals who attacked her. If it was not for a good Samaritan who came in on the bus after hers and stopped the attack, God knows the amount of damage she would have suffered. If you see the surveillance footage of her being attacked, it will shock you. It will shock you for a number of reasons. Number one, it will shock you because the NYPD failed to take this matter seriously. It will shock you because you will see an MTA employee press on the gas and just leave Fatu there to defend for herself. And it will also shock you to see the number of individuals who stood by and did nothing. They would rather Facebook and live stream it than step in to help a young black Muslim woman.
Shame.
When she went to the police department herself They told her, "You can't ID your attackers. We're closing your case." The NYPD told her that the Bronx DA had closed the case and dismissed the charges against the arrestees. They arrested 3 individuals that night and still failed to investigate. The NYPD told Fatu that there was no video footage of the attack. We've all seen the video footage of the attack.
Yes.
The NYPD didn't uncover that video. Fatu did. You walk down less than 100 yards where the incident happened. All you have to do is raise your head up and you will see at least 3 cameras recording everything that happens around that bus stop. And still, they failed to investigate. When they said you can't identify the attackers, Fatu found a witness who she did not know. She found a witness she did not know, and she tracked him down. And she went to the NYPD and said, "Here is your witness. Interview him. He can identify my attackers." Nothing. The NYPD ghosted her. She emailed and no response, as if she didn't exist, as if her life didn't matter.
That ain't right.
No, it's not. That's not justice. She even provided them a sworn statement from this witness, from this Good Samaritan, where he stated, "I'm willing to speak to you and I can identify the attackers." And still nothing. Weeks and weeks have gone by. And it was not until media attention circled around this case, it was not until Fatu had to suffer over and over and over again, to be victimized again and again as she searched and investigated her own hate crime, that finally the Bronx DA called and said, "We want to meet with you about the case that we shut down." And when we met with them on June 7th, they told us it wasn't them. They pointed the finger to the NYPD. Well, we're here to tell the Bronx DA we want accountability. And when do we want it?
Now!
We're also here to tell the NYPD we want transparency. And when do we want it?
Now!
We want justice. And when do we want it?
Now!
The last thing I want to say is that when this case was reopened on June 7th, I called the Hate Crimes Task Force on Monday, this past Monday, and I spoke to Deputy Inspector Mark Melinari, who heads the Hate Crimes Task Force. He's the boss of that unit. And I asked him, "When are you going to interview Fatu?" Her attackers hurled racist and religious slurs at her, mocked her for wearing her hijab as if it was a sign of weakness. But we know that Fatu is a strong, black, Muslim immigrant woman.
Right, that's right.
She wears that hijab with pride. There's nothing anyone can do to her that will make her take that hijab off. And I asked him, "When are you going to interview Fatu? She wants to tell you what happened." He said, "I've reviewed the files for the 42nd Precinct. I don't need to interview her. The Bronx DA is not going to prosecute," he said. I asked him why. They reopened the case. They haven't spoken to a witness. They haven't seen the surveillance footage. Why? He said she can't identify her attackers. As if that's the only way the NYPD can investigate a crime. Use the tools that are available to you to serve justice. He even admitted that this may be a hate crime, but they would not be investigating. And that's why we're here today. Even though they've reopened the case, they are still refusing to take it seriously. They are still refusing to call it for what it is. A hate crime.
Shame
Investigate
on
it
you, Lord.
as such. Shame on the NYPD.
Shame.
So we're not going to stay silent. Fatu is not going to stay silent. She's been brave. She'll continue to do so. She's going to seek justice for herself, because the only way a young black woman in this city is going to get justice is if she fights for it, if she earns it herself. I want to also leave us with these few questions, and I hope that we'll continue to follow up with the NYPD, all of us, to hold them accountable. If this could happen to Fatu, how many times has this happened to our brothers and sisters, not only in the Bronx, but in New York City? The mayor goes around touting the great crime numbers that we have. Why do we have those numbers? Is it because the NYPD isn't investigating? How many hate crimes have occurred where they've just closed the case? We need to know these answers. The NYPD has to be held accountable. They have to explain, what did they do in the 30 days when they closed this case prematurely? What steps did they do? How many times have they taken similar steps in the past? We won't rest until we get these answers. Are we going to rest?
No!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
Thank you.
And I'd like to conclude today once again by thanking those of you who made the time and the effort to be here. Jazakumullah khairan. May God reward you with peace and blessings and safety. And I want to reiterate to anyone out there who is a victim of a crime, who feels as if they are not being taken seriously, understand that there are those who will take you seriously. Do never ever be discouraged to the point in which you are silenced. And if you need a supporting voice, you have it with a community that will stand beside you. And that voice will be taken and it'll be reverberated in the halls of power until your voice is crystal clear and loud. Once again, what do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
To my sister Fatu, you are an inspiration
Yes.
of courage to us all. You will never be forgotten, not just among us, but a whole nother generation of young girls who have watched you and have seen what you have done. And they will not be silenced because you were not silent. You are the definition of bravery.
That's right. That's
Our
right.
sister Fatu, we will be there with you. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here. Remember, I want to see you here, not necessarily physically in this space, but with Fatu, over the phone calls, over the organizing, over the action that needs to be taken now for the next day, 2 days, week, 2 weeks, month, whatever it takes to make sure that this investigation is not just reopened on the books, but that it is taken seriously and it is concluded with the proper response that it deserves from the get-go. Thank you so much to all of you. Have a great afternoon. Sister Fatu, we love you. We're here with you.
No justice, no peace. 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 No justice, no peace.
No justice.